coming tonight. This is just an experiment on online versus in-class learning. It's the in-class portion. So tonight we're going to be talking about lean, which I don't know if some of you know about it or not, but lean is something that is used a lot in manufacturing, but it's also used a lot just in business in general. I worked at a manufacturing plant this summer as an engineer and continuous improvement intern to be exact, and we did a lot of lean practices. It's something that's applicable to a lot of different majors. It's not just engineers. I don't know how many engineers are in here, but it's not only for engineering. It's also used in business. It's used in management. It's used in like economics. It's used in a lot of different places. So even if you're not an engineer, this is still something that you're going to hear a lot of down the road because, like I said, when I was there, the people that were talking about it the most were the engineers, but the people that were talking about it with them were the managers and the people that were working with like the money, so basically the accountants and everything. So everyone has to really understand how lean works, and if you get a lean certificate, which we'll talk a little bit more about, it's going to look really great in your resume. It's something that you can definitely use. It's something you're all going to use at one point. If you're going into any type of business situation, it's something you're going to use. So I highly suggest it. We have a green belt course here in the winter that's a lot cheaper than when you get out as a professional, and it's a great opportunity to get a certificate, put something on your resume. But for those of you who don't know what lean is, the best way to describe it is cutting the fat. That's how everyone who knows lean, that's the simplest terms for it. And that's because there are such things as in business as waste. And there are 7 wastes in lean that lean is about. And these wastes are things that make a business not run as efficiently. It wastes money, wastes time. It's actually something, lean is something we use in our everyday life, and you probably don't even think twice about it. It's something that I like to call the common sense. It's a common sense practice. It's something that you don't think about, but you just do it automatically. So for example, when you go to class in the morning, you might go like the straight way down. You probably take the quickest way possible. I know like the people in Mountain View go like right down the mountain. They don't even try to go around. Whereas that's a lean practice, whether you realize it or not, because you're not going through the nature preserve, then going all the way over to the West Gym to get to a class in Bartle, because that would waste time. You would have to wake up earlier to do it, so you'd waste sleep. You would waste time that you could be doing homework or doing something more efficient. So that's a lean practice, and it's the same type of thinking. Like, why would you take a product and put it 5 different places in a plant when you could just put it to point A and B? It wastes time, it wastes money, it wastes resources. So that's really what lean is. So like I said, a lot of it is just very common sense. So today we're going to be talking about the belts just a little bit. Then what is lean, waste versus non-value added activity, value added matrix, and the 7 wastes, which I just told you a little bit about. So the belts, these are the different belts you can get. It's kind of like if you do a martial arts or karate, where the different belts are how good you are based on your knowledge of lean. So obviously black belt is the best, and yellow belt it's only like an hour or 2 course. For the yellow belt, you have a slight understanding of lean, but you don't have to do a lot of the projects. You don't have to study for as long for it, whereas the green belt is more in-depth. You have to know more about the lean processes, the waste, Six Sigma, and you have to take a test on it to get the green belt certification and the black belt certification, which green belt you can get without having the previous 2. Brown belt and black belt, you have to have the green belt before you can go for those 2. So you have to have some previous knowledge in lean before you can go for those. But the black belt one is the hardest to get. That's the one that takes about, I think they said about a year, and you have to do 2 projects along with it, and someone has to judge your projects. But honestly, I did a project over the summer. I didn't even do it for lean. or to get my belt. It's just something that I did in my internship, and yeah, it took a while, but it wasn't hard. It's not like you think of it as a project. A lot of it, like I said, is very common sense, and it's something that helps manufacturing, helps the plant, helps the place run more smoothly. So, as I said, what Lean is, I kind of gave you a little bit of an overview, but this is more of the definition for it, I guess. It's a systematic approach in identifying and eliminating waste or non-value added activities through continuous improvement by making products on time with best quality and lowest cost. So as you can see, the red, those are a lot of hot terms when it comes to Lean. The first being eliminating waste. All Lean really is, like I said, is cutting the fat and eliminating waste. Also, it's non-value added activities, which we'll talk about more later, but a non-value added activity is something that you don't pay for. As a customer, we don't pay for things that go on in the background of the business. The best way, when I learned about it, my boss said to me that engineers are non-value added. As much as it doesn't make any sense that an engineer would be non-value added because we do a lot in order to make a project work, the only people that add value to the product as the customer sees it are the operators and the people that deliver them the product. So everyone else is just a waste in terms of Lean. So continuous improvement, like I said, I did a lot of that over the summer. It's just continually improving in order to make a system run better. Lean is continuous improvement, people use a lot of Lean and Six Sigma practices in order to make a business run smoothly. And you might think to yourself, how do they not know how to do this? And honestly, from where I've been and from people I've talked to and engineers who've worked at other places, managers and various different business type people that worked at other places, they've all said that most places are not very, especially in the United States, are not very ahead of the trend when it comes to their business practices. They're like 20 years behind a lot of places such as in China and Japan. And the reason that is because they are, in those countries, they're more likely to do change. Whereas here, people are very less likely to want to change. Even from what I saw, people don't really want to improve. If it works, don't fix it, is what a lot of theory in business is. But unfortunately, they don't realize how much time they're wasting and how much resources they're wasting. So the best way that I could describe this in a term other than a business would be if you're in your car and you're someone, you pay for your own gas, I pay for my own gas, and you want to eliminate waste, meaning you don't want to spend extra gas than you have to, because we all know gas is way too expensive to begin with, so you take the quickest way there, so you eliminate the waste of going the extra miles. Because it's a non-value added activity. So by going the extra miles, by going randomly to Johnson City or Vestal or places you don't need to go, it doesn't add value to your gas mileage. It doesn't help you in any way. It's not something you need to do. So therefore, it's a non-value added activity. And you continually improve this by